Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Tuck It Up with Café Cultura. It's your girl, Jaylah, of course. And I wanted to start off the show today by sharing, and I'm really excited to share that we are nominated for the Latin Podcast Awards, and we have 5 nominations. So October 11th, 2025, we will be hoping we take them all home. So I'm excited today to have an amazing guest on our lineup, like always, bringing you guys the best founders in tech in all different spectrums, everything from nonprofit sectors to health, education, and so much more. And today with me, I have Nyene Baker. Hi.
Thank you. How you doing, Jaylah?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm splendid. Thanks for asking.
By the way, I'm glad I got your name right because I'm sure that a lot of people don't get that silent N at the beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from.
Okay, so I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. I grew up with my two older sisters, with my parents. My parents are immigrants from Liberia. I went to Catholic school from kindergarten all the way to ninth grade. I grew up in a violent, drug-infested neighborhood in Trenton, New Jersey. Um, I went to Catholic school, and my parents were strict. They were so strict. We got out of school at 2:30. If we weren't home by 2:45, we got a butt whipping, and we got a lot of those, right?
Oh,
So,
I know that too well, coming from first generation immigrant parents.
so you know, uh, my whole life took a change when my dad moved back to Liberia when I was in the fifth grade. And, once he went back to Liberia, I was happy, because, my dad, he was, the most strict out of my parents. So, I was able to, get over on my mom. And at least I thought I did, right? My mom was strict too, but it was much more easier to get over on my mom. And I
I don't,
started.
as a mother, I'm telling you, I don't think you guys get over. I think we just choose our battles. At one point, you're just like, all right, this is my kid. Like, what am I going to do about it? This is the life they chose.
Right. So I just started to get in a lot of trouble. And I say not even 2 months after my dad left one night, my sisters, they were doing their homework in the kitchen, and I came and stood in front of them, and I pulled out a plastic sandwich bag with crushed aspirins, and I said, "I'm gonna be a drug dealer." And then I pulled out a stack of $1 bills with a $20 bill on the top, and they started laughing. And eventually I became that drug dealer. So by sixth grade, I was already on probation. By the end of eighth grade, I seen my first murder. I played basketball. I was great at it. Played basketball for my freshman, high school, Trenton High. And ninth grade is when I went down the wrong path. Started selling drugs, and that led to almost 2 decades of a drug dealer career. Fast forward, um, February 24th, 2010, I was arrested by the FBI at Philadelphia International Airport for drug trafficking. And almost a year later, I was sentenced to 15 years in federal prison.
Wow.
And yeah, and a week before I was sentenced, my mom, came to visit me. And, I had to be the bearer of bad news and let my mom know that I was about to plea out to 180 months, which is 15 years. And, my mom started crying, and that was the worst day of my life. And as I think of it now, it always, really, it really touches me. So my mom, just started crying, and it was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
I was helpless. So that the next week, I got sentenced to 15 years. However, the 15 years, that I got sentenced to, sentencing day was the most powerful day of my life. Number one, reason why it was the most powerful day of my life. Yes, I take full responsibility of what I did. But I was over sentenced, but they couldn't break me. And two, that's when the vision and dream came to me, and I was excited. I told myself, I got 15 years to do. I'm going to work on my weaknesses and flaws. But also I'm going to learn, how to start a nonprofit, how to run a nonprofit, so that I can change as many lives as possible and stop as many lives from going down the path that I went. So that's why my that was the most powerful day of my life. And like I said, that vision and dream came to me. So, throughout my prison term, that's what I did, just worked on myself, worked on, you know, learning how to start a nonprofit, how to run a nonprofit, and I befriended, friends from all walks of life, and just, transformed myself. And, eventually I came home 11 years later. I was able to, for 11 years, I fought in the courts. I lost, was told no. But finally, I won my 2 appeals. In the last appeal, during COVID, I won my compassionate release. My judge granted me a compassionate release, which allowed me to, be able to give back the 4 years that I still had left. Due
Okay.
to, good behavior and, good things that I did. And of course, the laws had changed as well. So, so God blessed me with that. And, once I came home, October 23rd, 2020, I started with public speaking first, and then I was able to start my nonprofit, and then I just started executing, and I'm here today.
So, I mean, obviously we have you here, and that's such a incredible message of change, right? Some people are such strong believers that people don't change. And I've seen truly like miracle changes and growth with people, and I'm a believer of God. So for me, it just feels like what you're saying to me right now is all like a testament, right? You're helping lives. And sometimes, unfortunately, we get in these situations where without the life experience, without actually have gone through it, it doesn't have almost the same amount of impact, if that makes sense, right? Because
Mm.
sometimes when you're talking to certain people, it's like, well, you've never been in my shoes. Why are you telling me what to do? And when you're like, no, I've been in your shoes and those shoes suck. Like, so let's fast forward. You get out, you work on all of the things because you really truly, and just from the energy, just our conversations previously and now, you have a phenomenal soul. Like, you can tell, like, your energy
Thank
is
you.
is it exudes that. So how, with this vision after all of these years, because most people after a year they try something, they give up,
Mm-hmm.
and they throw it out. You've had time, and
Yes.
sometimes it was uncertainty, sometimes it was just hope. How did all of that and it becoming a reality now,
Mm-hmm.
after all of that, how did it all begin? Like, what was that step where you're just like, okay, I did that?
Well, it was a journey. I would be lying to say, it just happened overnight, right? So I say all that to say I have to give you, a little background of how it unfolded when I came home. So when I came home, it was hard. I came home during the COVID pandemic. I was on federal probation. My federal probation officer, she was on me, on my back to get a job. And I started with a warehouse job. That didn't work. Then I landed a job at a fitness center called what is it? Planet? No, Crunch Fitness.
Okay.
The manager told me, I'll be a fitness trainer. I got the job. When I got the job, I was doing a front desk position. And, that didn't go well. So I only stayed a week. She misled me. She told me that I'll be a trainer. But I'm like, how am I, training people if I'm up here, at the front desk, working the front desk? So that didn't go well. So I end up, resigning from that. But then I landed my first job with Planet Fitness. They gave me an opportunity. They accepted my background, and I stayed there for almost over a year. I was making about $15 an hour, which wasn't much, but I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
And then I landed. They didn't want to give me any overtime, any extra hours. So I went to Amazon, and Amazon basically changed my life, post prison. The reason why I say that because just for the record, I never worked, right? All I did, before prison, I sold drugs. I was a full-time hustler, right? And I never experienced working. So I say that to say Amazon broke me in. I worked for 10 hours on my feet, and I never experienced anything like this, right?
Yeah.
And another thing that came along with it, I experienced getting my health and benefits, and experienced getting my 401k. So this was a great experience, even though I dreaded going to work every day. But this was an experience that I was experiencing. It was breaking me in and getting me used to being a working man. And I thank God for all that. And then this is a big vision that came from working with Amazon. One day they had a alleged tech opportunity, and I applied for this alleged tech opportunity, and they said, "Oh, you have to take a coding test." So I took that coding test, and I failed with flying colors. And I told myself, you know what? Amazon is playing games. The reason why they're playing games because if this was a tech career opportunity, they would just give us the the training, and then once we finish the training, they'll give us this tech career opportunity. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go and create as many tech Fortune 500 partnerships and bring these opportunities to the underserved communities and try to stop people from going through what I went through. Yeah. So the first day that I started my research for my tech vision, I stumbled across a Google article, and my partner, Richard Ashe, the founder of Breakbeat Code, who was working at Google at the time, he had his engineer information, and I emailed him, and the next day he responded, and he said, can you come up to New York? Because I moved to Owens Mills, Maryland, which is about 15-20 minutes away from Baltimore, Maryland. And I said I can be there the next day. So I came the next day. We had a great meeting. But he said, you're asking a lot of executive questions, things that I can't answer. You need to, have a meeting with the founder. So he set that meeting up the next day, and I met my my partner, Richard Ashe, who's also on my board. And the rest is history. We became partners. I became a partner of Breakbeat Code. My nonprofit became a partner of Breakbeat Code, and then he also gave me some more partnerships at Google. So, and then everything else, basically came along with me creating other partnerships down along with Microsoft, Girls Who Code, and Afrotech, and some other tech partners as well. So that's how the tech vision came from working with Amazon, and so now we basically have these tech programs where I'm giving people opportunities in the underserved communities. For example, we have our Grow with Google career certificate scholarships. We since last summer we distributed 70 scholarships in New Jersey and all throughout the country. And as of now, we have about 10 students that have completed their certificates, and all of them are from all across the country. And we also have our Grow with Google Grow with Google Justice Impactor program. It's a program that's for everyone, but it's more geared towards justice impacted people. Yeah. As returning citizens, and it teaches people how to use a cell phone, Gmail, email. It has work readiness programs, how to create resumes, how to conduct themselves in job interviews and things like that. But I say that to say all of this happened because of me working at Amazon, and I thank Amazon for that. And up till today, I'm doing what my mind told me to do when I wasn't given that opportunity, because I didn't know any coding. So and I felt that test. So yeah, I thank Amazon for that.
There's something that I always tell, and I hate to still see it in our communities, which is having options and opportunities. And I think that that's such a huge deal, and having somebody like you so focused on giving people those options and opportunities. It's like, hey, here's some scholarships. Come really grow. Like, come change your life. Come do something different. And I know what it is to not start per se like I'm going to be a tech founder. Like, I'm sure that was not part of your plan, right? That wasn't on your bingo card.
No.
But it did happen, and that's one of the beautiful things that I love sharing with people and about tech, is that with tech you can really bring any type of situation or skill into tech. And it's such a beautiful thing, because I was in media for 15 years, never would have thought I would end up as a tech founder, and here we are, and I know the same with you, with your background. And I'm sure that you touch a lot of and have helped a lot of people that are in similar situations that never thought of the or even think that, because I still think there's a handful of people that think that tech is IT.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and then after Amazon, I was given an opportunity. I spoke at my old high school, Trenton High, and up to today, that was my my best speech. And that speech led me to meeting the superintendent of Trenton Public Schools, meeting former mayors, the mayor of Trenton, New Jersey, and then also led me to meeting former Governor Jim McGreevey. And because of that, my speech, former Governor McGreevey gave me an opportunity to work for his one of his 10 nonprofits called New Jersey Reentry Corporation. So I end up moving from Owings Mills, Maryland to Philadelphia. And I took that opportunity, but I have to tell you about this opportunity. The opportunity I was only able to move back to Philadelphia, and I was given the destination in Hackensack, New Jersey, which is a 2-hour commute. So a total of 4 hours. So I had to, do 2-hour back and forth commute. And the first day, Governor McGreevey said, you're traveling away from Philadelphia to come here? And I said, yeah, because where I'm from, there are no opportunities, like this. So there was no way that I was going to turn down this opportunity, right? So I did it for about a little bit over a month. And it was just too much. It was just the wear and tear on my body. I had to wake up early and I just couldn't, do it anymore. However, that really extended, and we established a great relationship. And he became my mentor, and he allowed me to resign. And then after I resigned, I went through the hardest time of my post prison of post prison. I went through unemployment for about 3 months, and times was hard. However, it was a gift and a curse. I was able to work more on my nonprofit, but I really struggled financially. And then finally I got a job with this company called Life Connect. I was a engagement specialist, and I did that for almost about 7 or 8 months, and then I was laid off. And once I got laid off, that's when I started working full time for my nonprofit. And I'm working full time for my nonprofit. But I did a lot of struggles. I have to say this too. Last thing, I was working at Uber, and I was driving. And when I was living in Owens Mills, I used to have to come to Philadelphia, which was about almost 2-hour drive just to do the Uber, right? And it was a lot. I was struggling, but I used to make, decent amount of money. And one time I changed my my destination so I can be able to pick up passengers in New Jersey. So when I did that, once you do that, you have to do the background check again. Now, they knew that I had felonies on my record, and all my felonies are in New Jersey. So when I did that, the felonies came back up. Uber said, oh, the felonies came back, but which they already knew, they were aware of. And they said, we have to make a decision. So they said, we have to, deactivate your account because New Jersey, don't have your felonies or whatever. Instead of saying, hey, we already know about your background, just come back to Pennsylvania and drive, they didn't do that. So I ended up getting fired. And, I still, all through that, I was still, motivated, optimistic. I said, oh, well, that's their loss, right? Because, that wasn't fair. And that just motivated me even more. And, just fast forward, I went through a lot, but fast forward, May 9th, I was nominated over it was over 500 nominees for the Russ Berry Making a Difference Award, and it's a prestigious award by the Russell Berry Foundation, their foundation in Teaneck, New Jersey. And May 9th, I was one of the 10 nominees that won this Russ Berry. Thank you. This Russ Berry Making a Difference Award, and I was the third returning citizen to ever win this award, but I was the first returning citizen from Trenton, New Jersey to ever win this award. And we, and they gave us, a great amount of money for that award as well. So I say that to say, I'm here now, went through all the struggles, and, now I'm just working full time for my nonprofit. It wasn't easy, but, it's still not easy, but I'm here today. So just wanted to share that with everyone.
This is definitely it's a hustle, and it's not easy. I tell everybody that, but it's worth it. I think that it's especially when you have a vision and you're passionate about what you do, and you're passionate about what you do and the change you want to make. So that all comes off, and with time, and I think that continuing to build these communities, like what we're doing with, getting the word out, with, us just talking and opening these doors to my audience and your audience. And this is just opening more and more doors. And I see the community building, and it's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
How can, if somebody wants to work with your nonprofit, support you, hear more about your story, or get in contact with you, what is the best way to do so?
They can contact me through my email address, which is Nyene Baker at vpgrp.org, or they can reach me on LinkedIn. My name, Nyene Baker, spelled Nyene, last name Baker, Baker. And our website is www.vpgrp.org.
Oh my God, Yanin, thank you so much for being here. Just one last question. What's next? What are the next goals within the next couple years? I mean,
Well, and you're welcome, and I really appreciate you for allowing me to be here this morning. Well, what's next is basically actually next month and the next few years. Actually, next month I'm going to Congress. I was selected and nominated rather to go lobby for a bill that will be coming down the pipeline. It's called the Clean Slate Initiative, and the Clean Slate Initiative is an organization that that's helping returning citizens or people that have felonies on their record, get these felonies expunged off their record. So we're going to be going down to Congress next month to lobby, for this bill, and I'm very optimistic that this bill will be passed. So it's a blessing to me. I found out, actually I was on vacation in St. Lucia last week, and I found out about this great news. So I'm excited, to be a part of making a great bill like this come into fruition. And besides that, just working to continue to make impact, changing lives, giving people opportunities in the tech world. I'm going to continue with that. And also right now we're pursuing getting into real estate development for affordable housing. So that's basically the workforce development and real estate.
No big deal. Nothing big.
So those are the two key things that we're going to be working on, throughout the next few years. So I'm just excited.
And we're going to be here following your footsteps and watching you. You're always welcome here on Tech It Up with Café Cultura to give us some updates and everything that's to come. And please, congratulations with everything, and wish you nothing but the best.
Yes, likewise myself. Wish you nothing but the best as well. Continue to keep doing the great things you're doing. And thank you very much again. I appreciate you.
Thank you. That was another episode of Tech It Up with Café Cultura. It's your girl, Jaylah, and I will catch you next time. Bye.